So I think this question, as we get into, as we look for COVID and watching the world change a little bit, there's my first doorbell ring. There we go. So I think this is a question that's really interested me and made us think at Acme what we need to do to educate our clients. So we've been working with our clients over the last couple of months, working on educating about sanitizing and disinfecting. What are the best practices to help the process? And even one of the great debates of the last decade, paper towels versus hand dryers. I'd like to introduce Phil Carrizales, our director at Acme Paper of our Hygiene and Facilities Solutions division. It's worth mentioning, over the past couple months, we've rebranded this division. It used to be janitorial and supplies, but we've recognized the need for more emphasis on hygiene in addition to just cleaning the facilities. And we recognize there's as much emphasis on having clean individuals to having clean buildings and facilities, and there's a marriage there to both. So we've officially rebranded that division, Hygiene and Facility Solutions. Phil's responsibility at Acme is to help guide our clients create the safest, healthiest, and cleanest environments for their businesses. And with that, I will hand it over to Phil.
Thanks, Scott. Good morning to everyone, and thanks again for being here. Today I'm going to talk about general cleaning practices and procedures and the difference between sanitizing and disinfecting. In a recent survey, 90% of people indicate their perception of hygiene practices will influence their decision making. This influence is something we all know. You have one chance to make a good first impression. Also part of that survey, 71% of people require regular and visible wiping down of tables, kiosks, and other touch points. I believe that this has the same expectations across all venues and all public spaces. And right now it's more important than ever to strive for a new level of cleanliness to keep everyone safe. Some of the best cleaning practices come from the hospital setting. For them, cleaning is a well-defined process that includes cleaning systemically, either clockwise or counterclockwise. No surface being skipped saves time and is more ergonomic. Going from clean to dirty, starting with clean supplies to reduce the likelihood of spreading infection and contaminants. Cleaning from top to bottom. Wiping in one direction, circular wiping recontaminates the area that was just clean. And finally, and probably the most important, is scheduled cleaning, assigning staff members to perform specific cleaning tasks at scheduled intervals, and also to make sure that the staff member is completely trained. Some of the best cleaning programs include the use of microfiber. Studies for the EPA have proven that 98% of bacteria and 93% of viruses can be removed by using microfiber and water alone. This is compared to 30% for bacteria and 23% for viruses using a traditional cotton towel. A good microfiber towel program should also be color-coded. A good example of the color coding on this slide is for your reference when we sent out to you with the slide deck. Color coding is completely up to you based on your preferences. If you don't want to rent microfiber or don't have the ability to wash and dry microfiber, there's always a great option, which is disposable microfiber. If you already have a microfiber towel program in place, an easy 8-sided folding system will ensure that every single time you use clean microfiber. The proper folding and unfolding method are the picture below, and will also be included in the slide deck that we send out to you for reference. And the mopping, there's also a way to mop, which is a figure 8, best way to prevent recontamination of a cleaned surface. Some of you have probably seen this buck and mop it system. The traditional one is on the left-hand side. A split bucket system, which is a great alternative, has 2 separate components to it, which is a clean water and a dirty water section to it. And it's great for cleaning and preventing recontamination. Sanitizing versus disinfection. Sanitizing reduces the number of germs on a surface by lowering them to a safe level according to the public health standards. However, sanitizing does not kill viruses. Disinfectants are EPA registered and designed to kill 99.999% of specific viruses and pathogens. Bathrooms and other high-touch service should always be disinfected to reduce the possible spread of disease. Typical dwell time for disinfectants are usually 5 to 10 minutes. If you're not sure if your disinfectant is on the list of approved COVID-19 chemicals, we have attached a link to this page, which we sent out to you later, of all the EPA approved chemicals. The chemical can be found using EPA registration number, which is on the chemical label, not necessarily the name of the chemical. And one very, very quick and important note, if you're using a disinfectant on food contact areas such as tabletops, you need to rinse the surface to avoid direct contact with the disinfectant. You can use an approved no-rinse sanitizer or clean water, as disinfectants are not approved for food contact, but are critical to killing harmful microorganisms. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. I'm not going to spend much time on the details of the process, but want to include the process in the slide deck for cleaning the front of the house. Again, this will be sent to you. Additionally, for the restroom cleaning process, I'm not going to go through this very detailed either, but just want to make sure that you have this for future reference, that it is very, very detailed. Here's a recent study that took a look at several high-touch areas that have been traditionally overlooked in the cleaning process. One of those that really stands out to me are the chairs. 70% of the chairs had bacteria on them, including E. coli. And another part of the survey that is on there that really stood out to me, and it goes back to hand washing, is that 89% of foodborne illnesses were caused by pathogen transferred to food by workers' hands. So again, washing hands correctly is more important than ever before. And I've always thought hand dryers are not necessarily the best option, opposed to paper towels. It's documented that 95% of adults do not wash their hands thoroughly enough to clean bacteria and viruses from their hands. Hand dryers definitely help spread the remaining pathogens, and they can stay in the air for up to 15 minutes. Paper towels are more hygienic since the friction they induce is better at removing microbes from poorly washed hands. And recently, and part of this slide is a full article for New York State. Recently, the state of New York recommended that colleges return to paper towels as part of their reopening. And that is a very, very powerful statement. This page is an excellent quick reference for the high-touch areas, and also be included in the presentation we'll send to you. Be a great thing to laminate, and we can also customize this for your specific needs based on your location. And here are some probing questions for users. 3 that stand out to me are: number 1, what new guidelines are you implementing to ensure both customers and stay safe? Number 8, what are your plans for disinfecting? Whether it's a restaurant, an office building, hotel, gym, there definitely needs to be a plan in place. And number 9, have you thought about a touch-free washroom? Touch-free paper towels, auto flushers, hand soap, restroom fixtures are all great ways to increase the hygiene and present a safe environment to guests and your staff. And in closing, I'm going to thank you for your time. And I also want to let you know that we have SIMS, ICE, and GBAC certified staff, and we're always here to help you in any way we possibly can. So thanks again. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Phil. Bill, as Phil's speaking, it reminded me, the concept of green cleaning started back around, I think, 1992. It was an executive order from President Clinton. And the definition of green at the time was to do something better for the environment than what you're doing now. So if you were just using bleach to clean everything, find something less harmful than bleach, and that was considered green. It was before third-party certifications and before all of these new technologies and raw materials that we have today. It's sort of the same idea here, I think, as we attack cleanliness and even all the things that we're discussing. If you can take away one element of the things that we're discussing today to improve your facility, it's cleaner. It's cleaner for you. It's cleaner for your employees. It's cleaner for your students, your guests, your customers, whoever it is that's coming through your facility. So I think I'd urge everybody, what are the easy steps that you could do just to make things just a little bit better? Imitation is the best form of flattery. Our hygiene and facilities solutions team works with healthcare and hospitality, and we work with some incredible organizations, and we learn from them just as much as they learn from us. And sometimes it's as simple as a good color coding program with microfibers, where you may not have used that before you use traditional towels or wipers. Sometimes it's just the implementation of the disposable microfibers, as Phil said. But anecdotally, there was a story from the last couple of months that I saw. There was a country club outside of Baltimore that had a great process that just caught my attention. And it was after someone sat at a table and they were getting ready to have it prepared for the next guest, they put a table tent up that said, "Please wait while we have this table disinfected for the next guest." And on that table tent was also a small timer that ran for 10 minutes. Now, the timer ran for 10 minutes for two things. One, just to let the guests know that this process was happening so the guests felt safe. Additionally, as we talked about in the poll, and as Phil went over in the conversation and in his presentation, that disinfectant needs to sit for 10 minutes. As we disinfect in our homes, and I've talked to people about this, we don't let things really sit for 10 minutes. We spray and we wipe. So to take the extra step and to have that checks and balances for an operator to make sure that their staff is letting those products sit for 10 minutes is so critical to really making sure that your environment is truly safe for your guests, your employees, and the people coming through. And the other thing to keep in mind that I think is relevant, especially this week as we have these extreme temperatures in the region, is if you're in an outdoor space, just spraying the surface when it's 106 degrees outside may not be enough. That may dissipate pretty quickly. So you may need to really get that surface damp if it's an outdoor space, so that disinfectant has time to sit before you wipe it down. But again, good things to consider, think about, and take home with you. And again, please reach out to us for any direction or help with any of your processes, and we're happy to guide you through that.